My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake. Day. You know, our weather, I love living in Florida, man. I absolutely do. Where else can it be December and you're looking at a high of 86, at least in the continental U.S.? I am loving the heck out of this. Okay, I would tell you about some cool, funny stuff I saw. I did something last night, kind of on a whim, and at the last minute, I went and auditioned for a play at the local Moonlight Players. Been a while since I was around a community of theater geeks. Looks like it's going to be fun. I don't know if I'm ever going to get anything. I was kind of rusty, and I was just having fun with it, so looked like a great group of people. Actually, we're going to try to bring on some guests from the Moonlight Players organization here down the road. I'm actually talking to people about that. That's actually how I got the invitation to audition, was I was trying to set that interview up. But enough about that. We have a great show for you today. We are going to talk about it being Lager Day. That's right. For you beer lovers, stay tuned. We are going to talk about the big 3. Remember, I said about Christmas movies, I am sick to death already of Hallmark and Lifetime movies, and I am going to make fun of them real soon. But I'm going to go through what I consider the big 3 Christmas movies, some of the motivators of my life. We're going to talk more on Cup of Joe about gifting. So stay tuned. Tips, tricks, and advice for gifting and making gifts very special. And finally, I am bringing on my friend, Gerry Ash. Now, I know Gerry Ash because he's the owner of Ash Travel. I've known him through the South Lake Chamber Ambassador Program. We're both ambassadors. A great, great guy. Been serving this community for over 12 years. But Gerry is also the president of Kiwanis. So Gerry's going to talk about some of the cool things Kiwanis is doing. A lot of people don't understand what it is, so we're going to have him talk about that. We're also going to get some tips from Gerry about travel during the holidays, and as you get ready to plan for some travel for next year maybe, or what you might be able to do to save some money and stay safe. So with that said, we're going to hear from our sponsors, and when we get back, we'll get started. I'll see you in a minute.
West, now pre-leasing 28,900 square feet of commercial, professional office space in Claremont. Conveniently located on Highway 50, less than 2 miles from the Turnpike. A first of its kind in the Southeast, this pristine building creates the perfect blend of nature and modern design. If you seek a high-level image that matches your business, reserve your space today. 50 West, unique, quality, Class A. For more information on leasing, contact Ashley Punn at 407-403-4165. Karen Arlano at 407-948-0767. Or visit lease@50west.com.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Justin.
We would just like to wish you a very happy holiday from your CBD store, Claremont.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
And welcome back. Look, I love hearing from our sponsors. And just really, really quickly, I know I've said this before, but someday that 50 West building is going to be completed, and you're going to miss what should be a special experience. I don't often say this about buildings being built, but this thing is literally changing daily. It is a stinking work of art. Go up there and you don't have to go when they're doing the work. Go up there and take a look at it. After the workday, when it cools off in the evening, it's absolutely gorgeous. The natural wood colors, the shapes, it literally looks like a piece of modern art sculpture that you might see in the Museum of Modern Art in New York or something at the Art Museum in Boston. It's absolutely gorgeous. As a matter of fact, if you're taking pictures of that place, you are missing it. And I want to say thank you to our sponsors, the 50 West people. Reach out to Karen Arellano if you want to talk about leasing there. Yes, I do not handle commercial leasing, but I do know the best in the business, and Karen is one of them. So please reach out and use the sponsors. All right. Lager Day. It is literally National Lager Day. Now, lager is a kind of beer. And while most people may not understand the differences, lager, what we have in this country, our image of what a beer is in America is actually a lager. And what makes a lager special is a cold brewed process. I was actually fascinated to find out. Boy, I am just spitting all over myself today. Sorry about that, Jay. I
forgot to shower this morning, so I'm good.
Oh, good. So I'm spitting, you're smelly, we're good. I was fascinated to find out that before refrigeration, people actually found caves or dug these deep holes and filled them with ice to brew the lager in for the cold process. So ingenuity, coming up with new ways to do things. How about you, Jay? Do you like a good lager?
I don't like a good lager. I love a good lager. I frequent many of our local breweries. I actually prefer, I'm more of a, if I had to pick my style of beer, I'm more of a stout porter kind of a guy, and then maybe a nice IPA, but a good lager, you can't go wrong. What's your favorite, Joe? Are you a lager man?
You know what? I have never been a beer drinker, even when I was a drinker. Every great now and then an ice cold beer in a hot summer in a frosted mug, but today, I'd rather have a root beer or a Coke in a frosted mug. But my sons are beer lovers. They're the same way. They tend to prefer stouts and IPAs. I come from the time when that was a foreign term, a stout. Nobody knew what that was. Guinness was the only one that came out. But what we associate in America as beer, what we term beer, it actually is more correctly a lager. It's that paleness. Okay, we're going to talk about the big three. I talked about not Christmas movies yesterday. Today, we're going to talk about the big three Christmas movies. Had a little bit of a weird childhood because my parents were dancers and artists, and so I didn't have the typical raising that most people have. My mom was a full-time employee in business with my dad, then later working for the government. Before that was a thing, she was a real trailblazer. So when Christmas rolled around, there were these three movies that always really spoke to me. My favorite Christmas movie, It's a Wonderful Life. The typical story of the change that happens in a person. By getting perspective. And I will tell you, in my own life, I had a watershed moment where I got that kind of perspective, and it did literally change my life. The next movie is Miracle on 34th Street. Again, which I've always believed in Santa. I still believe in Santa. Don't tell me the big guy doesn't exist. I know he does. I've seen him with my own two eyes. Yes, I have seen him with my own two eyes. So the beauty of Miracle on 34th Street for me was the guy who believed and brought others along. The defense of Santa. There's no better movie scene, I think, than at the end of Miracle on 34th Street, the original one. The original Miracle on 34th Street, when they start bringing all the letters in and the judge says, the U.S. government says that this is Santa, so he must be Santa, right? And the last movie that I think is a watershed moment, that it was a movie that I absolutely loved, because it really spoke about a Christmas that I personally never had. Now there were funny things I could appreciate, but A Christmas Story, the story of a kid hoping for a Red Ryder BB gun, the whole classic. I did hear You're Gonna Put Your Eye Out about a million times. How about you, Jay? Did you hear about that?
Yes, I more gravitate towards I was an 80s, 90s kid, so I'm big time into and my son actually has followed the tradition of enjoying the Christmas Vacation movie.
Oh, yep.
Home Alone,
Uh-huh.
that whole series. So we watch a lot of that in our household, and we also enjoy the classic cartoons like The Grinch and things like that. But that's my wife, she's more of the historical movie watcher. She likes all of those. I'm somewhere in the middle, I would say, between my wife and my son as far as the Christmas movie enjoying.
Well, I'm actually going to cover many of those movies in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned. I've always liked those movies, like I said, is because they're a story of a transformation, of perspective. Even in A Christmas Story, the perspective the kid has about, for me, is really what Christmas is all about. It is the inclusion of the story about eating in, the turkey gets eaten by the dogs, and they have that whole thing, and then they end up in a Chinese food restaurant. I've ended up in a few Chinese food restaurants with my own family a couple of times for different reasons, but I love those movies. I consider them the big three, and actually, if you watch Lifetime or Hallmark, many of those movies are basically a watered-down remake or based out of the storylines of these movies, at least the themes of them. All right, that's enough about those movies. More about movies later. Gifting. Today's advice is very simple and very short. Wrap, don't bag. Look, I don't know when bags got popular. 20 years ago, there was a time I can remember you never got a gift in a bag. And I appreciate any gift somebody gives me. And sometimes you have a gift that's just big or bulky or weird shaped. Putting it in a bag for a business purpose is one thing. But if you're going to give a Christmas gift to the people you love, to the people that are important to you, take the time to wrap it. My brother had a tradition every year. It almost got irritating. But every year, he was the guy that would give a present, and it was wrapped in 4 rolls of cellophane tape, of Scotch tape, and it had 3 boxes in it, and then it was wrapped with some paper, and it might have some duct tape on it, and he'd put some cement to hold it together, and weights inside. My brother was the master of this, and as irritating as it was sometimes, because you knew he was going to do it every single year, I still remember those times. He took the time. He wanted you to enjoy unwrapping it. Well, he also wanted to be the guy that was known for doing that. And today, I do some of that myself. There's nothing more special than getting something. And there's a new show on television called Rap Battle. My wife and I can only handle one episode at a time because there is a lot of drama. I don't get it. But they create some beautiful gifts. If you take a little bit of time to wrap a gift, to make it special and more than just throwing it in a bag and throwing some tissue paper on it, it takes time. It extends the experience, and it makes somebody understand that more than thought went into the gift, it went into your enjoyment of it. Whether you're a tearer or a folder, everybody loves opening a gift. Please, if you love the people in your life and you really want to give an effective gift, take the time to wrap it. All right, that's enough for Cup of Joe today. When we get back, we're going to go to hear from our sponsors. When we get back, we're going to hear from Gerry Ash, the founder and co-founder and co-owner of Ash Travel, and more importantly, the president of the Kiwanis Club of South Lake. I'm really looking forward to this. Stay tuned. I'll see you in a minute, and Gerry will be with me.
Hello, I'm Mary Rhodes with the mortgage firm, your local mortgage lender. I've helped thousands of families achieve the dream of homeownership in Lake County, and I would love to help you. Our team has over 30 years of experience helping first-time homebuyers, veterans, move-up buyers, seasoned investors, and more. Please read our reviews and visit us at mortgagefirmpros.com.
Are you tired of having drugs or alcohol ruin your life? Do you need to get off pain pills but still maintain pain relief? My office in Tavares has programs to help you. While not covered by insurance, program fees are affordable. My name is Alan Zupkin. I'm board certified and have helped thousands of patients achieve these goals. Please call me for further information.
Burgerum, located in the Epic Theater Shopping Plaza on Highway 27, is the premier destination for gourmet burgers. Using only the freshest ingredients, Burgerum offers a variety of burgers, salads, wings, and a whole lot more. Beef, chicken, lamb, fish, and even veggie. Burgerum has something for everyone, no matter your dietary preference. Burgerum, millions of possibilities, endless combinations.
Hello, my name is Michael Singh with Singh Insurance and Financial Services. Our goal is to build trust based on a clear understanding of how your insurance policy protects you, your family, and even your business. When was the last time you took a good hard look at your insurance coverage? Would you be open to the possibility of reviewing your policy with me? One review of your policy can save you valuable time and money. Call me today to set up a review of what may be available to you.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors. And welcome back. Look, you all know how I feel about my sponsors. I just don't have words to express my appreciation. And just specifically, I really wish that I had time to spend days with each and every one of them, because beyond being good business people and sponsors, they're all amazing people. Mary Rhodes has been a champion of mine for many, many years. I'm looking forward to sitting down with her. Her and I actually spoke recently. We're trying to set up one of our usual breakfasts, and it didn't work out. I have to reach out to her. Michael Singh is a young man doing something that if you own a business, you can appreciate, because he has taken the risk. He has, after years of being safe and successful with another company, he said, I'm going to go take a shot and do this on my own. And he ponied up, and he's taken all the risk, and he's still got a great attitude. So I would suggest, if you have any questions about insurance, reach out to Michael Singh. Dr. Zubkin has got a great heart to help the hurting. The reason he specializes in addiction practice, helping people with alcoholism or drug addiction, and I know it all comes from his heart, from a practice he had earlier. He saw so many people suffering from addiction that he's found a way to help, that he has generated his practice in that area. And Burgerum, these people, again, they come to a strange place. They open a company. They've got an idea. They're not sure. They believe in the idea, but they don't know how the community is going to receive it, and they're doing an amazing job there. They've been received by the community, but I really appreciate what they do out there, because they are concerned about each and every burger that's going across the window. So just want to say I really appreciate each and every one of them. Okay, that said, welcome, Gerry.
Thank you, Joe.
Folks, this is Gerry Ash, and Gerry is a friend of mine 3 years running now. This is as long as I've been on the chamber, right? And Gerry is the co-founder and co-owner of Ash Travel LLC. He is a cruise counselor. He is an ambassador on the South Lake Chamber. That's how I got hooked up with him. And he is also the president of the Kiwanis Club of South Lake. All of this stuff is going to be important to what we talked to Gerry about. Thanks for coming on, Gerry. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for inviting me. I really like talking about the Kiwanis Club and what they do in the community. That's my passion, is helping kids in the community.
One of the reasons I wanted to have you on about this subject at this time of year is because you guys have an event coming up. But before we get into that, I don't think, and I got to honestly say, I've heard of Kiwanis a lot, but other than the guys that drive the funny cars, is that them? No. They wear the hats? No, that's somebody else. You guys used to be in parades when I was a kid.
We're the elves.
You were the elves.
Yes.
You're the elves. That's it. Kiwanis has a lot of great great stuff that they do. It's a service organization, correct?
Correct.
What is Kiwanis? Let's start there.
It started over 100 years ago as a businessmen's group up north, but it quickly turned into something to do for the community. So Kiwanis has over 550,000. That's the number. Worldwide volunteers. And so, but Kiwanis is about helping kids, serving the community.
550,000?
Worldwide, yes.
Wow.
And Florida has the most Kiwanis clubs in the world, as far as in the state of Florida, as far as the country, and we do so much locally, but also like on an international level, we have an Eliminate project to eliminate neonatal tetanus, which takes the lives of a lot of babies, and we've eliminated it in about 30 countries so far, just completely eliminated it just with a less than a $2 vaccine. But locally, we do so much, and a lot of people join Kiwanis because they love the Boys and Girls Club, they love the Sea Cadets or Head Start, and it's like trying to figure out where they want to put their energy. But with Kiwanis, we reach out to so many different ones, and we'll have a new member come in that's interested in a program we're not currently involved in, and we let them head it up and we move in that direction. So we're always looking for new programs that we can help. It could be a robotic program at school, or we do the Head Start Christmas party. Let
me ask you, obviously your service organization, you have a lot of business people, you have a lot of just retired people and non-business people, so you don't have to be a business person or an entrepreneur to join, right? Why is that important? I mean, is it because so many organizations struggle? Is it because, they can't get the volunteers? Is it just because there's so much that's close to people's hearts?
Well, there are so many people that need help, and kids and homeless kids. There's just so many different things. And Kiwanis, I like it just because, we do help so many. And you did mention retired a lot of time with kid that there is 2 Kiwanis clubs in town, the Claremont Kiwanis Club and Kiwanis Club of South Lake. They have noontime meetings, and we have 7:30 a.m., 7:30 to 8:30 meetings.
Okay, so the Kiwanis Club of South Lake is the morning breakfast club. It's the breakfast club.
Yes.
The other club is Claremont Kiwanis, and they are a lunch organization, or
Correct.
Their meetings operate around the lunchtime period. Okay.
So sometimes we go after retired people, and it's like they're retired, they don't have to get up at 6:30 to go to a meeting. So
they're not gonna,
and then we have people that 8:30 they go to work. So a lot of our members are still working during the day that can't take the noon meeting, and so that works out great. You can hit one of the 2 clubs and be involved with everything. A lot of things going on.
I want to do a shout out to that club. I mean, because I didn't want them to think that I think one club is more. You're all Kiwanis. It was really kind of cool to have been at an event sponsored by the other club the other night, and all the members from your club were there supporting it. I thought that was very, very cool, because many times chapters are in, I don't know about Kiwanis, but chapters in some organizations are competing. They're not really working together. I think Kalina's the president over there this year. Is that? Or was she just the head elf?
I know. She's one of the head elves. I don't believe she's a president. I know they're working on a satellite club in Montverde, and Kalina and Joe Jameson. They're working on that, and I expect one day that might build up big enough to be a 3rd club in the area. But they're doing a satellite club in Montverde to really pick that up in that area.
Are they going to go evenings? They're going to be around? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm not sure their time zone.
Do you know? And what time zone is Montverde in? Right. We're just having fun. Everybody loves Montverde. That's the kind of thing that is really important to understand when you talk about organizations like this, because something like Kiwanis has been around for a long time, but you're not resting on your laurels on what you did back in the 60s and 70s.
Right.
You're growing, you're expanding the club, and it's not about money. It's about expanding the reach to help people, right?
Correct. Yes.
Let me ask you this. So obviously we see why that's important. What's going on now? And I brought you on because something specific is about to happen.
Well,
so what are you guys up to these days?
Well, really, I'm probably a week late to tell you the big thing that goes on in December. We help Santa and Miss Claus at the City Center, which was just this past Friday night at Light Up Claremont. And we have about at least 600 families come through. And we take pictures with Santa Claus. My wife is the photographer. And that car gets ran over to 4 printers. They print it out. And so we got to run her back and forth. And so we take and print 600 pictures and hand them to the families just 5 minutes after they've met with Santa. And then we have, I started a few years back, and I collect books, gently used books, and a kid takes a free book home. So we give out 600-700 books at Santa's Hut, and they get to take a book home with them. And so then the next day in the parade, myself as one of the 6-foot-plus elves and other elves, we walk in the parade in front of Santa. We have the sleigh that we decorate and all. And I just found out we won the float, best decorated float for our sleigh. So we're there with Santa and Miss Claus riding in the sleigh during the parade. So that's the big thing.
In the Claremont Parade?
Claremont Parade.
So that
Saturday.
big sleigh with Santa and Mrs. Claus that brought up the whole, that finished up, that was you guys? That was your
Kiwanis
float?
Club of South
man,
Lake.
yeah.
And we're real grateful to Tom and Janice Senegar. They have a big warehouse by their home, and they keep the sleigh on a trailer year round, so we don't have to. Used to here at Hunt Industrial Park, they let us take it and store it in one of the buildings, but then as they filled up,
Yeah, they
we got
didn't
lucky.
have the space.
Yeah. So they store it year round and just decorate it, new tree and a new paint job this year. So everything
That's
was good,
great.
ready to go.
That's great.
The other thing we got coming up, we're trying to have like 2 Texas Hold'em charity tournaments to raise funds. And our big fundraiser is always about the second weekend of May. We have a celebrity golf tournament. And we fill it up every year. We have teams of 4 plus a celebrity. And we're at Champions Gate because we need over 100 golf carts.
Now, when you say celebrity, you mean local
Okay.
celebrities? Do you mean like professional football players and movie stars?
It's ex-football, we have some Hall of Fame football players from the past. We have some musicians sometimes out of Nashville. 2 years ago, we had Al from Home Improvements. He was our.
So you actually mean real celebrities?
Real celebrities there as our spokesman, and we have some local people from the news, and we have Magic players.
Oh,
and,
great!
And so Anthony Bowie is there every year. We've had Bo Outlaw, Nick Armstrong, and people. And so, and then on the course, we have a lot of stuff. And these players, these guys that play all kind of celebrity tournaments, rate us as one of the best they play at, just for what we have on the course and how much fun we have.
You know, and I'm sure Jay and I will promote that not only through the show, but through the station on our upcoming community calendar. So make sure we get the flyers for that. Let me ask you this. What's next?
Well, one thing that I'm real passionate about, we just started working with Hannah Grace Homes locally. That is, they just went from 30 to being able to house 40 kids. They've come out of foster care that maybe had too much trouble in foster care. So this is like a last place for them. And so us and other clubs are doing a Christmas thing for them. But this coming weekend, I put out the word, and I've collected 24 bicycles that I've repaired, and some of them are almost new. And so Saturday we're doing that.
Helping Santa get them into
That's
the right hands, right?
And Amscott donated 40 bike helmets, and so bike helmets and that, and then closer to Christmas.
Oh, Amscott donated.
Amscott, yeah.
Oh, that was awful.
They somebody told me about it, and I went on the website. They do a lot of bicycle donation,
Wow.
bicycle helmets. And so I reached out to them, and within 3 days they said yes, and I picked them up at the local Amscott branch.
Absolutely
So
wonderful.
that was really nice.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that, and also after our meeting on Thursday, we're doing our Head Start Christmas party. So Santa and Miss Claus will be at Head Start, and we've collected gifts with the help of the Elks Club. And so we partner with a lot of clubs on these different things. And so we did that, and then other gifts that we bought for the kids. So we're doing the Head Start. And speaking of Thursday,
Can people still help on that?
That we've probably bought up. There are some other organizations. There's an organization that I'm just last minute called me yesterday, working with homeless kids in the area. And they're short on funds and toys, so we're looking at what extra toys. We had very
What
good
organization is that? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
I'll
can
tell
shoot
you
that
what.
back to you real
Get
quick.
that to me, and I'll talk about it on the show.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
I actually missed a call from Renee Lowe that I put in touch with them to tell me
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
what they needed. So I'll have all that.
You'll be calling her right after.
But you mentioned Moonlight Players. They're actually our speaker at our meeting Thursday morning
Oh,
at
no
Kiwanis.
kidding. Cool.
So they're going to talk about how they've raised the level on what they're doing.
Cool. I'm actually going to attend that meeting because Gerry invited me, and I've never been to one. So I'm gonna go on out and see what's going on. How can people, if people want to become a member of Kiwanis or they want to volunteer with you? I think we have your website available.
Right.
We're going to bring that up. How do people reach? Do they do it through the website? Do they reach out to you personally?
Really just info at, and then the website address, kcosl.org, and or they can also Gerry at ashtravel.com. But yeah, on the website, I will say that as all this is strictly volunteer, the website is not as up to date as I would say. Check out our Facebook page. I didn't note that because we've got many members that. Yes, we got many members that will post on the Facebook page, so it becomes more.
You get a better idea of what Kiwanis is by watching the Facebook page.
Yeah. Yes.
Good.
So.
You know what, folks? We are going to go hear from our sponsors again. I really appreciate this, and you know what? It's not enough just to be part of Kiwanis, but I really want to say I appreciate you, Gerry, because I know from some of the work I've done in the community that when you step up to be in a leadership role, you basically tripled the time commitment, because you're not just organizing, but you have so many more meetings to be at. You got to make sure all the right people are on the right bus at the right time. Yes, I stole that from my friend Nancy Cummings. Thank you, Nancy. But I just really want to say I appreciate you. Look, we are not losing Gerry. We're gonna go to commercial break. We're going to hear from our sponsors. When we get back, Gerry's going to tell us some tips and tricks about traveling, about booking some cruises, how to stay safe, and I'm really looking forward to this. I'm not traveling this year, but a lot of you are, so stay tuned. You need to hear this. See you in a minute. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors.
West, now pre-leasing 28,900 square feet of commercial, professional office space in Claremont. Conveniently located on Highway 50, less than 2 miles from the Turnpike. A first of its kind in the Southeast, this pristine building creates the perfect blend of nature and modern design. If you seek a high-level image that matches your business, reserve your space today. 50 West, unique, quality, Class A. For more information on leasing, contact Ashley Punn at 407-403-4165. Karen Arlano at 407-948-0767. Or visit lease@50west.com.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
I'm Justin.
We would just like to wish you a very happy holiday from your CBD store, Claremont.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors. And welcome back. Again, love my sponsors more than I have words enough to express. We are Gerry Ash of Ash Travel. He is he's a co-owner of Ash Travel LLC, founder. He is also a certified master cruise counselor. Gerry, thank you for joining us once again. Let me ask you, this time of year, I mean, frankly, I don't travel this time of year because it's such a nightmare to me. Tell me, please, what kind of travel are people doing when we talk about travel?
Well, so many people travel domestic and they drive or rent a car, fly and drive, and see families usually. So I don't get into a lot of that. A lot of my domestic travel is Grand Canyon, Vegas, New York type stuff. And but what I do
people book those trips at the holidays?
If not for family trips. But a lot of times the people that are, by themselves, I got couples that, the kids aren't here this year. It's like, let's go do something fun.
People like my wife and I, right? The kids are gone. Let's go have fun, right?
Right. And that's where I get some people, same thing with cruises. It's like, I don't want to deal with the holiday meal this year. I don't want to deal with this. Let's go have fun and do a cruise and have fun on a cruise. But a lot of the travel, all-inclusive resorts is one of my specialties also, and I'm actually a sandal specialist, and my car's wrapped. You'll see it with sandals and beaches on it going down the road. And
that's something actually I'd like to point out. If you see a car around town and it's got some pictures of palm trees and sandy beaches and ocean views with this handsome guy standing there, that's Gerry's car.
I will note that down Heartwood Marsh, there is one other one, and we both live off Heartwood Marsh. Hancock, I'm sorry. Hancock. But, so there is one other one. They must work in Orlando because that's the only time I see them. The all-inclusive resorts are big because you just, same way with cruises, you pay one price pretty much.
It's funny that you say pay one price. I would like you to give us a handle on, when you say to me a cruise or an all-inclusive resort, right in my head I'm going $15,000. That's a car.
Yeah.
For me, or a half of one at least. Is that a reality? Is that a myth? Because I know a lot of people think like that. Oh, they don't want to do that because, it's expensive.
Well, I will say that when I'm quoting people, all-inclusives, sandals and beaches are at the top. They are the best of everything, and they include so much: free scuba diving, snorkeling, and the meals, the top-notch food, wine, and everything. And you start pricing them for a week with a family, and you can go from $5,000 to $15,000 for a family, and $5,000 maybe on the low side for Turks and Caicos.
But that's a high-end vacation.
But that is a high-end vacation. So I start talking to people, and I sell a lot of AM resorts. Where sandals is adult, beaches are family. AM Resorts has Breathless and Secrets adults. They have Dreams Resorts and Now Resorts that are family. And they're all-inclusive, ultimate, very nice. And then
tell us what all-inclusive means.
Well, all-inclusive, when you show up, they've got 3 meals a day, but they got snack bars that are open. You go to any bar and any drink there at the bar is included. Some of them have water parks and they're included. And then also snorkel equipment, paddle boats, kayaks, non-motorized water sports. Most of them will have that.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say I'm thinking about an all-inclusive resort, and I'm looking at these things, but I don't golf. I don't do that kind of sport activity. Frankly, I'm far more into maybe some shopping with the wife and sitting by the beach, and maybe I want to take in a show or I want to take in a historical thing. Can you do those things too? I mean, do I have to pay the price for golf and snorkeling and all that if I don't do that?
I actually, somebody coming to me with that question, one of my favorite places is the Rio Resort in Ocho Rios. It is a nice resort, all-inclusive, but it's medium priced. But what I like about it is from there you can go to Dunn's River Falls. You can go mountain tubing. You can go into Ocho Rios and do shopping at the craft fair. So I had 2 sisters that said, we want to do all inclusive, but we want to do stuff outside of the resort, and that is like a perfect place.
Oh, yeah.
If you go to other locations, it's like outside the resort, there may not be a lot to see. Montego Bay, from there, you got downtown shopping, but really then you go to Negril or to Ocho Rios to get that outside the resort experience. So yeah, there's some like that to where, I like that resort and the entertainment, the food, 24-hour pizza, just everything, but it's reasonably priced, and then a lot of stuff in that area to do outside.
Let's talk about price for a minute. Why should I use a travel agent? Why can't I just go on like Expedia or Hotels.com or something like that? Aren't those the best prices?
Well,
I know they want me to think they're
right.
the best prices.
Yes. I tell people I can't compete with the advertising, but I can compete with the pricing. The suppliers I use, I can book Southwest Vacations, or I can book GoGo Worldwide Vacations. These products, these people have excellent service. They do so much Caribbean stuff, but they also price match. So if I'm not the lowest price and you find something on Expedia, I can snapshot it and send it to them, and they'll price match. So you will end up with the lowest price, but not with service from a .com company. It'll be service. You have me, plus you have the supplier that I'm using that does so much.
So using a travel agent, I have a better chance to. It becomes one-stop shopping. It's probably more convenient, right? But by using you, I really can save a lot of money.
It won't cost you more, and you can save trouble. Sometimes it might be the same price, and sometimes, depending on what it is, I throw in a bottle of wine or something else to sweeten the deal.
Let me ask you something. Let me say that I use you and I get somewhere and something's not right. Do I call you?
Well, I strongly recommend travel insurance. And a lot of the product I sell, they have great insurance with that. And the insurance has a concierge service. And so I'm in line to be called, but if it's a problem that you deal with insurance, or if it's at the resort, you've got me or the supplier that I booked. That supplier has taken people from one resort and moved into another resort because they've got the power within
to solve the problem.
That area to solve the problem.
You and I were talking earlier about international travel.
Yes. I will say that although I'm an independent agent, there's a company behind me that helps 4,000 agents like me. I will brag a little and say that out of 4,000, I'm number 62 in sales. So I do a lot of travel sales. But this company, with the VAT, that's how I can compete. And also the suppliers. So international, I do Globus, Trafalgar, and very, very good. I do so many, that Colette, and just so many more. But and they have tours, guided tours. They have small tours, and that's your bus, your motor coaches, your trains. But then also some of them will have a car and drive in Ireland. You land, you get a map and a car, and you're booked in hotels or bed and breakfast. But there are places like Ireland, Italy, around London and Paris. I know those places well enough that I will do car and hotel and rental and excursions, and I'll help piece it together.
It's funny you bring up that subject. Tell me what the difference is between planning a vacation and taking a tour. Is for me to go on and say I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this, or to pick a tour that says it's going here, and
right.
here.
I actually, when people say here's some things I want to do, I actually start by sending them tours. Links to tours from different companies, because these tours will give you an idea of what there is to see in these cities. And then they may come back, some of them will come back, well, okay, I want to do this and this and this, and I arrange it. Half of them come back and say, I love this tour that you sent me, and it's done, your bags are to your hotel and back to the bus, and you're seeing everything, but some tours will be more inclusive than others. Some will have a free day, and you can add a tour or go sit at a local cafe, go shopping, and but they'll pick a tour that has what they wanted to see, and then also I'll add a day to the front and back to a lot of tours.
Give me an idea of we hear. I can remember as a kid, Pirello Tours
Pirello,
in Boston, right? I mean, it's back a million years when that's where he was, you know. Give us an idea of the advantage or different or disadvantage, because a lot of those guys, Pirello Tours were groups.
Right.
You know, you were going with a group.
Right.
It was, you know, it was just groups. And what is the difference between going with a group? Because I know you can book a group and not necessarily know anybody in the group.
Correct.
Or you can book individually. What are some of the advantages and disadvantages between going group or going individual?
Well, going with a group, usually you'll meet a lot of great people, and you're staying in the same area, and you got some free time. But going with a group, you know that your transfers are taken care of, and you got a schedule. You got to be up at this time. You got to be in the hotel lobby, and you get do your transfers. But everything is taken care of. You're not going to run into any problems. You go into the Coliseum, or you go into the Vatican, and a lot of these groups too will have early entry into them. And
not standing in the
not
3 hour line.
standing in the 3 hour line. You may stand in the 45-minute line, but not the 3 hour line. But going on your own, it will be a little bit more, because instead of being on a bus with 20 people or 40 people, instead of being on that bus, you're going to be in a taxi or in a Uber or however you want to go. And so you're going to be adding price to your transfers. But then at the same time, when you're leaving your hotel, let's say for your plane home, you can leave in this hour or later, and you call Uber whenever you want, versus, you know, so you've got some more
versus
flexibility.
the bus is leaving at 10, you better be there at 9:30,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it sounds like I want a group if I don't mind a little bit of structure, and I want to meet new people.
Yes.
If I want to be just with the person I'm with, and I hate structure, probably individual plan is the way to go.
Yeah, and a lot of time, the first time, especially if you feel you can go a second time, the first time you go to Italy, my first time we did Venice, Florence, and Rome. And then we took a day trip down to Pompeii, extended it, and did a day trip. And the next time I go back, I'll do independent, and I'm going to hit Florence. We loved Florence.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You take a tour to learn the place,
yeah.
And then kind of like going into a store and seeing everything, and then going back and focusing on, or theme park, actually. Yeah. You go to a theme park and you see everything, and then you go back. I think we have is this your website?
That's your my website. Yes. And and one of the things, we hadn't talked about cruises, but groups. I do a lot of group cruises. This company behind me has about 700 groups booked at any one time. I can book anybody into a group. You don't even know you're in a group. The advantage is somebody wants to cruise next fall. I find that a year ago, my company started a group. They have cabins with the prices locked in at last year's prices.
From a year ago. Do you know, and I can actually vouch for Gerry on this. He does a lot of work with the chamber, booking our things there, and everybody comes back. They're always raving about what a good time they had. So, and you know, the advantage to spending a lot of time with others or never seeing them at all, but they still got the group price. Gerry, I want to ask you one thing. We're getting ready to wrap up here. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. You know, I could do a 5-hour show, right? I don't know if anybody would watch, but I'd have some fun with my guest, right? Can you give us, you know, you hear a lot, people go on these trips and they get into danger, or they get, you know, they get jammed up in a foreign country, or they get hurt on a cruise, which, you know, something happens to the ship. Can you give us, just really briefly, your best tip for traveling and staying safe?
Well, a big thing is traveling in groups. That's one thing with the group. Traveling in groups, and with them using or local tour, even tours. You take a tour, because you could just head out get a taxi and head out into wherever. But do an excursion or doing something tour with the group, that's one of the big things, because the tour company is responsible. They're going to make sure you're safe. I've had people come back and say, oh, they put a guard with a machine gun on the bus with us when we were going through wherever, you know.
Israel,
that sounds scary, you know,
like
but you know, but they're going to be responsible for you. And so that's the biggest thing, and I should take that advice myself. Me and my wife went walking down the street, and a local woman pulled up and said, if you go any further, you're going to get robbed, and you better go this way. It's like, okay, yeah, I need to take my own advice.
Protecting you. You know, it's
That's
really
right.
funny you said that about the machine gun, because when I was in the Marine Corps, I got to see some foreign places. One of the places I got to see was Jerusalem.
Yes.
And the thing that still sticks in my mind as an 18-year-old kid from Concord, New Hampshire, had never been out of the U.S., was there were people patrolling the train station, the subway station, with shotguns. And they were like, if there was a baby carriage, they used the shotgun to move the blanket to make sure it was a baby.
Oh, wow.
And it was just that kind of, there are places in the world that you're glad those guys exist, right?
Exactly.
I mean, so anyways, we've run out of time. I wish I could talk about this for hours. Matter of fact, we will bring Gerry back to talk to us when we start, probably a little later in the spring.
Okay.
People are going to start thinking about travel for summer, and we can kind of start talking about that. Look, if you guys need to travel, I encourage you, reach out to Gerry, even if you have questions. You may not use a travel agent, but you should hear from one. The guy has over a decade of experience in travel and in being serving this community here in South Lake as a businessman, as a travel agent. Gerry, why don't you, this is your camera,
okay,
and I want you to look in there and tell people how they can reach you, and if they have any questions about travel or any of that.
All right. Yeah. Well, the easiest way is email, since I'm out and about, but Gerry with a G, Gerry at travel.com. And something I always tell people is, if you're using a good travel agent, it should not cost you any more than booking it yourself. Because the cruise lines pay me, Sandals pays me, the resorts pay me, and you don't pay me. And so yeah,
I never knew that.
Yeah. So I start working for you, and I get paid when you allow me to book your trip. So Gerry at travel.com, and you can see my phone number on the website.
That's a cool concept. That's exactly what I tell buyers. The reason you should use me when you're buying a house, even from a builder, is because you're not paying me.
Right.
Yes. The seller of the house. It doesn't save you any money to not use me, but it might save you money to use me. So, this has been great. I want to say thank you, Gerry, for joining us.
Thanks for inviting.
Gerry, I would encourage you, if you're watching this in the replay, Gerry spoke to us for quite a bit about the work he does with Kiwanis and the importance of Kiwanis in the community. I encourage you to look for that interview on our Facebook page and our YouTube. And if you know anybody that should be a guest on Joe Knows South Lake, please, please, please reach out to me. Don't stay quiet. There are some really cool people with doing some really important work with some really cool stories out there, and you know them, and I need to know them so I can bring them on the show. Also, if you are not branding on South Lake TV, you are missing the boat. Here at South Lake TV, here at Joe Knows South Lake, our customers our viewers are direct residents of South Lake County. If you want to do business in South Lake County, you should be branding here on the station, because all of our viewers are direct viewers and interested in South Lake County. We're the source of information for South Lake. Finally, I will remind you that there is greatness inside you. And as Gerry is doing, using his greatness to bring out the greatness in others, I encourage you to do the same. I dare you, use your greatness to bring out the greatness in somebody else today. Encourage somebody with a word. Spread a little bit of Christmas cheer, a pat on the back, a hug. Just maybe buy a uniformed officer behind you in line, the coffee, or whatever. This is the time of year for an act of kindness. Do a small act of kindness today. You won't regret it. Once again, I'm Joe Carlisle. This has been Joe Knows South Lake. I will see you tomorrow, and I love you. Bye-bye. My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe Knows South Lake. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors: